Where did all the flappers come from? Find out next!
CapeCast.
Howdy folks, I'm Eric Williams and welcome to CapeCast, the official webcast of the Cape Cod Times for November 30th. We salute holidays of yore at the Centerville Historical Society Museum in the second half of the show. But first, let's take a look at news. Prosecutors in the Krista Worthington murder case have been accused of withholding evidence by Robert George, the defense attorney for Christopher McCowen, who was convicted of the crime. George alleges in a motion filed yesterday that prosecutors did not disclose the criminal backgrounds of several of the state's witnesses and failed to provide information about problems at the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. Read more on this story at CapeCodOnline.com. In the libel launch department, an East Sandwich woman and her son are suing the National Enquirer for stories last year that said the woman had an affair with Senator Edward Kennedy and her son, now 22, is their love child. Caroline Bilodeau Allen and her son Christopher Allen are asking for $1 million in damages. Hey folks, did you ever wonder what the holidays were like in the old days? Look no further than the fabulous Centerville Historical Society Museum.
Well, we have three period rooms. One that's colonial, one that's Victorian, and the third is the 1920s.
And it's sort of costumes and decor, wardrobe stuff. What else?
They're decorated according to the period, what Christmas would be at that time in that place.
So this is the last New Year's party of the Roaring '20s. We got the flappers.
Right.
They're in the boom days.
They're
Before
in the boom days,
what
before
we know what's coming. They don't know what's coming. So they're probably in a darn good mood. What's going on right now then?
So they're having a party. They have the hats. They have the punch over there. They're all dressed up, so they're having a good time. In the 1920s, for instance, the figural Christmas ornament was invented. You wouldn't have seen it before this time period. As a matter of fact, in the 1920s, the Christmas light came into being.
Wow.
You wouldn't have seen that prior to this period either. And in the 1920s, the candy cane was invented by a man in Georgia. Some of the things that that happened in the 1920s is that the garment became very tubular. The garment also tried to create a more masculine look for the woman, and they became much more revealing. What we've tried to create in here also is a typical Victorian Christmas. What you would have found at this time period in a house would have been mistletoe. Christmas cards were invented in the 1860s, printed in 1860s, and then they became very popular by the 1880s, and people would take their Christmas cards and they would put them on their Christmas tree. The other thing the Victorians did was they decorated quite often with greens because that was very readily available.
Well, Randy, once again, we've gone into the Wayback Machine, and it appears we have dropped maybe centuries from the present moment. Where are we?
All right, we're in a colonial kitchen, 1780s to 1810.
Was a holiday back then a more simple affair?
Much, much simpler. As over there in the tree, you can see they did string popcorn, they did string cranberries, especially here on the Cape. There's a star there that would have been cut from tin and used at the top of the tree. We have these gingerbreads that they made, and that would have been a real special thing, very special. Just the spices alone to make it would have been difficult to find.
The exhibit, which runs through December 15th, leaves off at the 1920s, but we rummaged around the CapeCast archives and found this footage from a festive and groovy 1960s Christmas.
One present makes you nervous, and one present makes you small, and the one that your mother-in-law gave you don't do anything at all.
Okay, let's rock on over to the world of sports. Hall of Fame sports writer Peter Gammons was the keynote speaker last night at a fundraiser for the Rehabilitation Hospital of the Cape and Islands. Gammons spent 3 weeks at the facility in 2006 to recover from a potentially deadly cerebral aneurysm. Now let's take a look at the all-important Cape and Islands weather forecast, backed by video from Craigville Beach. For tonight, clear with a low around 27. For Saturday, sunny with a high near 34. For Sunday, a chance of snow, mainly after 3 p.m., mostly cloudy, with a high near 36. Hey folks, check out Sunday's Cape Cod Times for a heartwarming story about a Hyannis soup kitchen. Okay, we've got to get out of here. This has been CapeCast for November 30th. Have a great weekend, everybody. Till next time, see you!
CapeCast.